The 80s are back, baby. That's right. Pepsi, Max Headroom, and the HM Strat are here to stay. We're going to tell you all about how rad they are, so stay tuned. Hey, you're watching Alamo Music TV. My name's Chris McKee.
I'm Cooper Greenberg.
We're here with Alamo Music Center in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you're new to this channel, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, like our videos. If you'd like to support the channel, visit our Teespring store below for some custom designed t-shirts, including a t-shirt from the 80s, by the way. Did you know that?
I didn't.
Little stick figure guys that are on that. Eric Longenhan, Long Rooster, himself, he designed that for us, back in the 80s when the guy had long hair. Anyways, something else from the 80s are these from Fender, the HM Strats.
Yep.
Yeah, the 80s are back. These are killer. Okay, so behind the scenes, we are seriously really liking these guitars. We're going to tell you why, but they are really, really cool. The 80s are back, only we didn't have YouTube back in the 80s. We had like cable access TV shows.
Playing outside with your friends.
Better cartoons. Anyways, okay, so let's talk about these guitars. If you don't know, back in the 80s, Fender was not doing so well. We kind of come through the CBS era, and then Fender had an employee buyback. They wrestled themselves away from CBS, and they started producing some different guitars. But that was in the middle of a very different kind of revolution in music that was going on. And toward the end of the 80s, specifically from 87 to 92, Fender produced the HM Strat out of their Japan factory. And the HM Strat stands for HM...
Heavy metal.
Heavy metal, that's right. And what it was designed to do was go up against the Super Strats of the day. So if you think about it, what do you think some of the Super Strats were that this was going after?
I mean, I don't know, Hamer and ESP and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'd say probably the big ones were ESP, Jackson, and Ibanez. Yeah. Right, you had Steve Vai going around, Joe Satriani. They had their Ibanez guitars, locking Floyd Rose, 24 frets, very flat radiuses. And if you compare that to the Fenders that were available, like a typical Strat that we know, 22 frets, very rounded radius, it just wasn't meshing with what the musicians at the time wanted for their guitars. So they brought the Strat, not a Stratocaster, but the Strat. And from 87 to 92 is produced, and it had a lot of those features, which have been replicated. And I will say, and we kind of talked about this in another a Fender Top 10 video I did, which you can find right there above Cooper's head. So in that video, I talked about the fact that one of the benefits of Fender reintroducing a lot of these models is that these are arguably better made than the models that were coming out in the 70s that they've reintroduced, the 80s and the early 90s that they've reintroduced, partly because Fender just cares more than the company that was happening in the 70s when CBS owned them, but also because I think manufacturing has just come so far that there's such precision that's available. Yeah. Now, the Japanese Fender guitars have always been renowned for being fantastic, high-quality instruments, and during that period of time were really well sought-after instruments. But these are just killer. Yeah. So let's talk about some of the specs.
Yeah, of course. I mean, like you said, we got a Floyd Rose, kind of the first thing that jumps out at you when you check this guitar out. Yep. It's got a very fast neck and fingerboard, 17-inch
17-inch radius. So if you don't understand what that is, let's kind of stop and explain real quick, because I mentioned 9.5 earlier. Yeah. 17 radius, that's the radius of the fretboard, and the way that that is determined is it's the radius of a circle. So if you take a circle and you measured it in inches, right, a smaller circle that has a radius of like 7.5, right, that's a really small round circle. And so if you then take a cross section of that, that's just the size of the fretboard, that gives you the radius of the frets. So a smaller number means a very round fret. As you go up, it's a bigger circle, which means those curves are flattening out. So when you take that portion of the width of the fretboard, it's a lot flatter. So if you compare a normal Strat is 9.5 inches, right? A vintage one was 7.25. This is 17, which is flatter than most acoustic guitars, actually. So it's a very, very flat radius. Why would they do that?
I mean, your hand and the position of your hand, it makes it so fast. And
really fast, really low action is available. And here's where that really comes into play. If you have a really flat radius, you can have action really low, really light, with light gauge strings, and you can bend a lot. And because the frets are so flat, you're not going to fret out. That happens when the curvature of the fret hits the string as you're bending. So a higher fret up basically chokes it out. That's not going to happen because this is so flat. So you can really get that action much, much lower than you typically would be able to on like a typical Stratocaster.
Yeah. And with that Floyd Rose system that we're working with here, it also pairs it with some Gotoh tuners. So,
which we love.
Yeah, how are you going to beat that?
Gotoh's rock.
Yeah, and I said the first thing that jumps out at you is the Floyd Rose, but it's actually probably the colors.
The colors, yeah. So yours is?
We got ice blue right here.
Frozen yellow. There's also in the lineup a bright white.
Yeah.
And flash pink. And we were saying a little bit ago, if we had this ice blue and the flash pink together, it'd be like 80s, 90s, Spurs, Taco Cabana colors all over again. So
it's the best.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But great. I love the yellow. I'm very tempted to get the yellow.
The yellow, and the cool thing, you'll hear it in the playing demo, but they've got great pickups on them. They're very high gain, high output pickups, and they sound really good clean. Obviously, your mind's going to jump to the dirty, super distorted, heavy duty metal tones, but we did a little demo of both, and you can still get some really good Strat tones. It's a very versatile guitar. So these pickups, they work all across the board.
Yeah, and you can split the bridge, and I really like this kind of a setup, either HSS or HSH, because when you've got this, and particularly when you've got a coil tap, like the extra switch that Fender gives you here on this one, you can get that combination of in-between sounds that I think we first heard made famous on Stratocasters. So that 2 and 4 position where you're getting kind of the in-between of 2 pickups. I really like those sounds, but you get the lead strength of a bridge humbucker. It's really a fantastic, extremely versatile combination. And like you said, they sound really great with gain, but they aren't like bad pickups when you turn it to clean. There are guitars out there that have so much gain on the pickups that when you try to play clean, they're just too compressed.
Yeah.
I find that these really have musicality to them, regardless of whether you're playing clean or dirty. However, you have that knob turned up. And let's mention the knob has an F on it.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It is cool.
Yeah, so F knobs here. Like I said, it's an actual Floyd Rose locking tremolo that's on these, which is really fantastic. So you can bend, it's going to stay in tune. Now, depending upon the color, you either get a maple neck and fretboard, or you get rosewood. And the neck itself, it's a satin finished maple, hard rock maple neck, and it feels fantastic. It's a nice kind of shallow C.
Yeah.
And it combined with that 17-inch radius is very, very fast. And and then the bevel. I don't think that the original ones had this.
Yeah.
Something that we typically saw in deluxe Stratocasters. But that bevel on the heel makes this really comfortable in the hand as you get up there, which is important because this goes to 24.
Yeah.
24 frets. And I think this gets glossed over a lot when you're talking about pickups, but when you have a 24 fret neck, it changes the pickups a bit because the neck pickup moves further toward the bridge, which brightens it up a little bit because the frequencies it's picking up. The middle pickups also moved to stay in relation to that.
Yeah.
And so whether the pickups were hot like these are or not, there's going to be a distinct difference anyway because of the way the guitar is constructed. All that being said, though, with a 5-way switch and coil tap on hand, you have loads of versatility.
Yeah.
And then you want to know what one of my favorite parts about these are? That the logo, which is just so 80s, this screams 80s, is color coordinated to the body.
That's cool.
That's just a nice little detail. Way to go, Fender. Yeah. So, all in all, I want one.
Yeah.
How about you?
I'd take one.
You want one?
Yeah, I'd take one.
No, I won't. In yellow. Fender, you can send me one for free, please.
I'm a pink guy.
You're a pink guy?
Yeah, I'll take the pink.
If you get the pink and I get the blue, then we really are like the Spurs logo from the 90s.
We could do it.
Which is cool. throwback. So anyways, we're going to put them through its paces so that you can hear what these guitars sound like. And Cooper's going to play both because, you know, different colors sound different. Not really, but, you know, that way you can just hear both being demoed. So check it out. So there you have it, Fender's new HM Strat. By the way, something we forgot to mention is these are basswood bodies.
Super light.
Super lightweight, built in Japan. They really were going after the guitars that were popular back in the late 80s and early 90s, because all of those they were basically reading out of their recipe book and going, we're going to do this in Fender style. And I'm glad they've reintroduced it. These were a hit at the NAMM show, and it's nice to finally have them in hand with everything that's gone on this year.
Yeah, totally.
Because these are, particularly in that case, a very bright point.
Yeah, very bright point.
For what we've done so far. Yeah. So, all in all, really cool guitars, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you could see in the demo, I'm not a metal player, but I think...
but you got the hair.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what I'm saying. But we did a video a while ago that was, can you play blues on a metal guitar? And we were using a gem.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. And on
video's right there if you want to see that.
And on this one, I really think you can. You know, you can play blues on any guitar, I think was the moral of that previous video. But with this one, with the Fender kind of bones to a more metal aesthetic, it can cover a lot of the bases that maybe another super Strat type guitar wasn't really well equipped to do.
That's interesting. The foundations of the guitar can go a long way in the versatility of it.
Yeah, and the look is tight.
Tight. If you'd like to get more information about these tight guitars, go to our website. It's alamomusic.com. See all the information there. You can also chat with someone live so they can help you find the right guitar. Because the right guitar in any decade is...
the one that you're playing heavy metal on right now.
That's right. With hair. I can't do that. Anyways. All right. So go to our website, alamomusic.com. We'd love to help you find the right guitar. Again, if you're new to our channel, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, like our videos. Keep coming back for more. We'll keep bringing them to you. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time. And we are going to tell you all about them. So stay tuned. It's far out. I'm going to say something. Let's do that again. We're going to say they're rad.
No, let's move on.
No.
Stay tuned, man.
All right. Okay. This is good one more time.
I brought my glasses while you
right?
Hello,
do we have any
children.
like Max Headroom glasses?
Yeah.
All right.